Okay, for real this time. This one actually says Dark Souls. That's how I know it's the real one. I did an extra check. Sorry, it's a crazy story. I was apparently in Elden Ring, not in Dark Souls. I'm such a silly guy. I mean, it's hard to tell the difference. They look exactly the same. Yeah, they look exactly the same. Look at that architecture. Wow. Wow. Those bricks? Definitely not a JPEG. Okay. I have many soul. I could level. Or I could talk to my friend.
Time is a resource.
Okay, alright, jeez, chill out. How much more do I need? Oh, still so much.
Any fry to learn. Whilst
Okay. I do have a lot of consumable souls. I'm gonna use these real quick. I'm just gonna do this. Don't worry about coming back here and doing this right now. You may want to buy all of his spells to continue his quest line, but you don't have to. It's expensive. Very, very, very expensive. I'm not going to have enough still. Oh, that 800 really did it.
hello. Oh, I understand.
The mist of a revolution, eh? Oh, I only need 30,000 more. So, he seems pretty deep in thought.
The knowledge here is
The knowledge here is limitless. I will absorb it and then share it with you. Why, thank you. So he's very happy he's found kind of his mecca. All of the studies of Seath the Scaleless over countless eons. But we've got somewhere else to be. So I'm going to head to the Daughter of Chaos bonfire first. I think that's going to be the first thing on my list today. So we're going to go open up the shortcut that unlocks from the Fair Lady. So when you come here, make sure that you've given her all of her 30. If you need to drain it from some NPCs, with the Dark Hand, make sure you do that before you come here. Or if you have enough consumables. I've used all of mine. But you can look up on the wiki how many you can get from each NPC. It varies. Some of them is 4, some of them it's 10. I think the max you can get from any individual NPC is 10. And I think it's kind of based on the virtue of the character. So like a character like Sigland, who we just rescued, you can get 10. From a character like Rhea, you can get 10. From a character like Petrus, you might get 4. Or 1, if that. I'm just cartwheeling for fun. That's really the only reason I take this ring, is just so I can cartwheel for fun. Or front flip. I guess this isn't a cartwheel, it has to be sideways. So, when you killed Ceaseless Discharge, I say that 10 times fast, you drained the lava from this area. Your lava probably looks even worse than mine. This is a cool area, though. So we're obviously deep, deep underground. You can see roots. Try not to get infected by one of these guys again. So these ones, you can even see they start running to you. This one doesn't. This one's begging. So these ones won't hit you. The ones that are begging, These ones will. Careful here. There's a lot of stupid glitches with fall damage where if you're too close to the wall when you drop, you'll... I don't even know what happens. It's like it considers it a longer drop if you're along the wall while you fall, and then you get hit with just a huge instance of fall damage all at once for no reason. And it can just one-shot you for no good reason, even if it's not a lethal drop. So we're going to come over here. So we come down, all this, and around here, and we're going to come over to this side and kind of just stick on this side. So that's where we fought Ceaseless Discharge. So he'd be standing over there where all those Taurus demons are now. So they all showed up once the lava was drained. There are some items. I think it's just that one item, and that's the Chaos Gem. I think if I wasn't both human and holding on to 7 humanities. Oh? I don't have the fog ring either. Okay, I'll come back for that. Oh, there's this, I guess. And look who it is, an old friend. Oh. Except this time you're the giant monster and he's a tiny little baby. So, I mean, oh wow. I mean, I guess I have 7 humanity. I do have pretty good item discovery, but that's a fairly rare drop. Not terribly rare, but fairly rare. They are lesser Capra demons, but still, they're no match for us now. So if you're human when you come down here, careful you don't go too far and aggro things, because you'll get invaded by an NPC. I'm just going to come down here until the message triggers, and I'm going to run back up from where I came. So if he just touches you with his Armor of Thorns, he'll deal damage and he can stagger you. So be careful of, oh geez, of 2 major things. Carefully don't go too far down to pull the other Capra demons. And careful you don't either roll off or him push you off. What has happened there? Oh no. I'm gonna just... Here, wait, would you hold on for a second? I just gotta get this shield. You're making a fool out of me. Okay. Oh god. Okay, can you... Okay, that's enough of that. What's in here? So you get humanity, the shield, the sword. He shows up in 3 places, one of which is the depths. So we didn't do his full quest line this time. But he invades you in the depths, he invades you here, and he invades you further on through here. And if you do all 3, then you get his armor set. It's not exactly the best set in the game, but it's kind of fun that when you roll into people, it deals a little bit of damage to them. You can absolutely just roll off down to there, and there is, oh yeah, you can kind of see it there in the very corner, a bonfire. And then you can skip fighting all of these Capra demons. Careful not to pull a bunch at once. That dealt a lot more damage than I was expecting. You can see the headshot staggered him out of his animation. Alright. Just keep using the bow to pull them closer to you. It's just safer. Just because there's like 6 of them on this bridge, and if you pull all of them or even 2 at once, it can just be annoying. Just that much more difficult for no reason. Oh, or alternatively, you can just sit at a range and kill them with arrows. That's a perfectly reasonable strategy too. This poor man. Oh, the beauty of having a good shield. I took like no stamina out of me. Alright. So right... No. Down further. My bad. Come down here. There's these little statue demons. Oh, jeez. Okay. He dies in one shot. There is... Where is? There's an item here somewhere. Is there not? Am I losing my mind? It might be. Oh, there it is. So there's an item here for a specific reason, and it's because you can see this thing, this monstrosity clinging to the side. It seems petrified or something from this angle. Or not from this angle, but from this position, from where we are, from right now, from this time, it looks petrified. So there's this centipede guy here. He'll burst out of the wall if you drop down from up there. So that's where we came from. That's where we fought Kirk. And then you can roll down, and the bonfire is right there, underneath him. Thankfully, we have an incredibly good bow. He still has a lot of health, but he's gonna die pretty quickly. Always good to make sure you're topped off with arrows. I usually suggest that if you have some extra kicking around, just go grab some from Andre or something. Feather arrows are really good too. They fly further. The large arrows deal more damage when foes are within a normal range. But when you're, like, if I was going to try to kill this Lesser Capra from here, I should probably put on the Hawk Ring to do this. I'm probably too far away to actually deal damage to him. There's a certain point where if you're too far away, you just won't actually do any damage. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. But anyway, if I was trying to hit something quite far away, then the feather arrows will deal more damage. But fighting at a normal range, the hello, the large arrows deal more damage in general. D. Repair. I only have 1 and 2 mid slot. I'll stick with magic weapon though. I don't think I want to use power within. I don't actually know numbers wise whether using magic weapon or using power within deals more damage, but you're not using power within anyway, so I might as well just show. This section was just magic weapon. Kill these stupid stone guys. So they definitely look statuesque, but are clearly... Oh, hello? Oh, okay. It's a good thing my screen shook, because I couldn't hear you. Now. Okay, can you not knock me around like this? I don't like fighting him on the stairs. Wow. Okay. That went well. Good job, everybody. Okay. So instead of making observations about these stupid things, I'm gonna watch to see when this loser comes running at me. Thank you. I'll take those. Those are mine. Stay. I said stay. Okay. So Gonna come running. Oh, you. Yeah, hot cream equipped for this. I guess I could just switch it right now, but I don't really want to risk that. Okay, and that's how that should have looked. Alright. He'll respawn every time. This guy doesn't? I don't actually remember. I mean, he's stuck to the ground. He can't get me from there. he just looks gross. Little his little legs tippy tapping. Over there, if you go through that Taurus demon and down this little path here, there's a bunch of these centipede guys that'll burst out of the walls and ceiling when you go down there. And there's the large fire gem. So there's the chaos fire gem. The chaos gem back where those other Taurus demons were in the lava, and there's the large fire gem there. And you can give both of those to Vamos, and he'll do those upgrades. So he'll do fire to +10, and he'll do chaos. Chaos also does fire damage, but it also scales with how many soft humanity you have up in that top corner. So the more soft humanity you have on your character at any given time, the more damage the weapon does. It's popular for low-level invasions because you can just pop a whole bunch of... oh, I'm not too handy. Pop a whole bunch of humanity and deal split damage, scaling with the humanity, so you deal a whole bunch of damage to people who aren't good at the game. Another reason why people who invade at low levels are losers. Oh. Hi. Hi. Come get this. Because I want it. Okay. So I come up here. Before we go through this fog wall, we're going to come down into here. So there's this hole in the wall. We're going to come down this side. We're not going to come down that side. We're going to come down this side. And we're going to walk down this route. You can't jump off to get that consumable soul, I'm pretty sure is what it is, up on that side. But this is the way down. So you see these little maggots, these little chaos maggots. You gotta kill, please kill every single one. And if you have the Chaos Servant +2, right there, so you've given the 30 humanity to the fair lady. We'll touch this door, and we'll open it up. Alright, so we got some more maggots. Make sure they all die. Every single last one. I know that just sounds vindictive, but literally, please make sure you kill every single last one. Oh, that stupid root. Okay, I killed the good one. Oh, get back here. Okay, so one of them will drop the sunlight maggot. If nothing else, please make sure that you pick that up. If you're gonna do this, you need to pick that up. Even if you accidentally miss one of the maggots, you have to pick up that item. Killing all of them just makes certain that there's not going to be a weird glitch mess up, but you absolutely need that item. You need to kill the one that drops that item. So you can see a Titanite demon out there and a covered path. So that leads directly to the next Lord Soul boss. So you can skip over the entire area. So if you're having trouble with the area that I show right now, you can just come through here and it'll skip over a good portion of it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. This next area is not exactly the most beautiful area they've ever designed, nor is it the most fun. This area suffers a lot from the copy-paste problem, where after they got up to Anne Orlando, they started running out of time and running out of budget, and the game's release was rapidly approaching, and they realized, uh-oh, we need to finish the other half of the game. So places like the Duke's Archives got pretty fleshed out. It feels pretty good. There's a little bit of... There we go. There's a little bit of the copy-paste with the enemies kind of all being exactly the same as each other, but that's kind of just a general thing with Dark Souls. But... Ooh, almost too far. But Duke's Archives is pretty well done and pretty fleshed out. The Tomb of the Giants is short, thankfully, but it's just so uninspired, and the difficulty is let's hide things in darkness, which is just never fun. Okay, so we picked up the Sunlight Maggot, which is a helmet. So we're just going to wear the corpse of one of these stupid little bugs on our heads, and it creates this little aura. So, I mean, we're literally wearing the corpse of one hollowed out on our head. Maybe we've lost it. It's beautiful. So you can wear this through the Tomb of the Giants so that you can still have your shield up. That's why I didn't actually do the Tomb of the Giants itself before I came here. So you get this, and you can go through the Tomb of the Giants without having to switch your sorcery to cast light. Switch to cast light, or use the stupid, whatever it's called, the Skull Lantern, and then have to give up your shield. I'm going to take this off. So it's a parasite that inhabits Lost Izalith. It's still alive, which is just wonderful to know. It emanates a blinding light, which is why it's known as a sunlight maggot. So keep in mind that that's what it's called. I'm going to top off. Get my... I think I'm going to apply this before I head in. And then come inside. And we have the Demon Fire Sage. So let him jump to you and just block that. Don't try to roll it. There's a lot of weird, annoying glitches that can happen if you try to roll it. And he can absolutely... Oh, one-shot you with it. Block. So he's very similar to the Demon Fire Sage. Nope. This is the Demon Fire Sage, Davis. He's very similar to the Stray Demon. I mean, literally. In the sense that they're the same design. Which, as I stated, this area is really suffering from. Oh, okay. You're just going to have a residual effect like that? Sure. He does bleed, which you literally just saw there. It's usually easier to just kind of back up and let him come to you. Ow. Because he can... okay, he should be dead here. He can cast his magic. Yeah, there we go. That bleed killed him. It shouldn't be too difficult. The biggest difficulty is when he just sits too far and you can't get to him before he just starts casting magic, and then you get clipped by the magic. But if you're using the shield, the Baldur shield, then your stability is going to be, especially if you've +5'd it like I did. You don't need to, but if you did, it's even going to be better. You can just block the magic. So just make sure you're facing the epicenter of the magic. Don't have it behind you or at your side, or you'll still be clipped by it and it'll still deal full damage. Make sure you're facing where it's emanating from, which is, a fair distance in front of him when he goes to cast. But you can pretty much just block all of his attacks and you're not going to have too much difficulty with it, just as long as you're remembering to drop your shield to get your stamina back after he hits you. Because he's slow, he's really slow. So you're not going to be too worried about him getting multiple attacks or getting an attack in while you've dropped your guard. Okay. So down here is the way to our next section, but we're going to come up here first. I suppose you don't need to. I don't think it's actually a huge deal, but this might be an easier... Oh, no, even still, I feel like down there is easier. Oh, right, I forgot. There's an item here. Consumable soul. So I have enough to finish buying Logan's spells, so I think I'm going to do that before I do the next section. And so we come up here, we've got an elevator, and if you look down here, you can see the arena that we just fought the Fire Sage in. So if you beat the Fire Sage and then you have to go on to Lost Izalith, you can rest at the bonfire up here and then come down and then roll off here and then go through the shortcut. But I'll show you what's probably... I mean, I guess they're kind of both the same, but I'll show you a arguably easier run back. So this just leads right back up to Quelaag's domain, where we have the Fair Lady and where we went, and up there where we killed Quelaag. So now it's active as an elevator. I don't know how it got down to the bottom when it hasn't been active this whole time, but I won't ask any difficult questions here. So I'll come here, I'll rest at the bonfire, and level... no, wait. Sorry, not level up. So if you kill Kirk 3 times at all of his invasion points, his corpse ends up back there against that wall. That's what that whole section's for. It's literally just for him. Duke's Archives. We'll come back to here. Say hi to Logan.
Oh, there you are. Or were you just here? This fascinating place defeats my sense of time.
This place defeats his sense of time. He doesn't even know when I've been here.
Come again, anytime, for I too. Who are you?
Who am I?
Stay clear of my work. Curses upon you. How dare...
Oh. What?
Who are you? Stay curses.
But we're friends, Logan. Oh, Logan, don't you know who I am? I'm the Grim Reaper. Well. We'll come back out here. We'll rest here. I don't know. Let's just double check this right now before I waste time. Which is kind of what I'm doing anyway, but Oh, okay, he's still here. Do I need to... just 1 second. I just want to make sure I don't go to the next place and then he's not there because he hasn't actually transitioned to the next part of his quest line yet. Okay. So, we bought all of his spells. He doesn't seem to know who we are, and now he's gone. A man we rescued twice from prisons. He can't even remember who we are. Okay, intelligence. So you can see my endurance is only 22, and I only went uh, 35 in dexterity so far, because I'm going a little heavier into intelligence. For a crystal magic weapon, I don't know that I would say it's um, the suggested approach, but I like it. It's fun. Um, I don't think I need any more endurance to have the stamina I need, and I feel like I have plenty of health. I don't need any more than this. This is already more than I usually have. I am going to reverse my hollowing though, because I was embarrassingly killed, and I don't like looking at the beef jerky face. Okay, so now I want to warp to the An Orlando bonfire. This is a fairly um, in-depth detour. Did I just say that right? A fairly in-depth detour. Um, so you don't need to do all this nonsense. You can just watch me do it if you want. But I do want to make sure that I don't progress the game too far and I start missing out on these quest lines, because there's a lot of just little. A big one for missing out on quest lines is defeating bosses and clearing areas. So the game does checks after you've reached certain points in new areas, and that's how it progresses quest lines. So things like Lautrec killing the Firekeeper. Um, there's a couple of triggers. It's not just ringing the bell, but anyway, not important. So we'll come back in here. These boars stay dead. So we're going back to where we first met Seath. I am going to rest at this bonfire. I'm going to make sure that this isn't an invader. Okay, alright, we're good. Pull this back down. Okie dokie. I don't think no, the elevator's not there. I can see the strip all the way down, I think. Yeah, the elevator reset, which is irritating. Otherwise, I just run through all this and just go right to the elevator. But I'd have to wait to call it back down if I did that. Right now, so I'll just quickly clear this stuff out. What the? How are you alive? You just took so many hits. Oh, because it's slashing damage, that's why. Slashing damage against a guy that's made out of crystals. That's all. Ow. Okay, don't need to worry about him again. What'd you drop, buddy? A longbow. Thanks, I really needed that. Okay, I'm gonna run around this side. Okie dokie. Oh, he's gonna buff. I'm gonna kill him. Okay. Heal up. Is there a guy running to me on this side? Oh, yeah, I can kind of see him there. He's stuck on the table. Oh. Ow. What a shot. How did he get that around the banister? Wait a second. I think he's got an aimbot installed. Oh, I gotta Estus Flask back though. Okay. So I'll call the elevator back down. So you can see that this bookcase here has moved. So after you get kidnapped and put in the cell and all that, you can get back here through there. Or you can just go through it that way. I didn't want to run all the way back up those stairs. Higher risk of me dying for no good reason. So we're back where we killed the little Crystal Knight guy in the yellow armor. And we'll come back to the arena where we first fought Seath. And he beat us up. And we can see there's an old friend. Who has, good God, I destroyed that man. I didn't expect him to just die instantaneously like that. But we get the White Dragon Breath sorcery, the big hat, and his catalyst. So it completely hid his face, which led to the nickname Big Hat. Famously antisocial, he used it to block out noise and people's stares so he could focus on his own thoughts. It does not possess any special magical power. But that's how you get the hat. The tin crystallization catalyst is the single best catalyst once you have the 32 intellect to use it. Not really applicable for this playthrough for you or for me probably. But there's a chest here which contains the large magic ember, which you can use to make magic weapons plus 10. And now this area is opened up. Where Seath was is, you know, things have changed. So there's a couple of things that are interesting about seeing Logan here. One, this is where we first see Seath, which may be significant. I'll take that. And two, he seems to be naked for some reason. If we look at the sorcery he gave us, it was developed during his infatuation with Seath the Scaleless, and it emits a crystal breath similar to him. Although it no longer causes curse, what madness caused old Big Hat to appropriate this frightful power of the ancient dragons? So it seems that in delving into the very knowledge that Seath amassed in his madness, and that even potentially drove him to madness, it also did so with our bud. And just as Seath is seen here for the first time, scaleless, which you could maybe call naked, we see Big Hat. He is even still unable to part with the hat, but he tries to fully emulate the dragon. He has created some kind of monstrosity of a sorcery to mimic the breath of Seath, and is seen naked, standing in the very place that we first fight Seath. And that's the story of Logan. Alright, so we've got another errand to run. So I warned you, there's not really a good end for any character in this game. And that reaches everyone. Logan was motivated by knowledge and being able to impart his wisdom on new sorcerers. And he staved through the madness of the archives by teaching you the things that he learned, and once he had nothing left to teach, he had nothing left to do. He had no purpose left. Driven mad and purposeless, we find him in that room. So we're going to come here, we're going to push this all the way to the other side. So we already went down one level, which, you know, we'll meet up with here. And went into the painting and did all that. Which is there. So now that we've moved it down, we're going to come down to the third level. Alright. So what we're going to do is, if you actually did what I did in the catacombs, you're going to have the Dark Moon Seance Ring. So if we equip that, the statue of Gwyn disappears, and we can immediately switch it back. And here we find the Ring of the Sun's Firstborn. So Lord Gwyn's firstborn, who inherited the sunlight, once wore this ancient ring. The firstborn was a god of war. His foolishness led to a loss of the annals and rescinding of his deific status. Today, not even his name is known. So we know that Guinevere is his daughter, and now we know that there is a nameless son, his firstborn.
Halt! This is the tomb of the great Lord Gwyn. Tarnished it shall not be by the feet of men. If thou art a true disciple of the dark sun, cast aside thine ire. Hear the voice of mine self, Gwyndolin, and kneel before.
And now we meet Gwendolyn. So you can kneel and you can join the Blades of the Dark Moon if you like. If for nothing else than the trophy. Now that we've opened up, I'm worried that I'm going to say something incorrect now. I believe that now that we've opened up the shortcut, changing covenants won't affect the use of that shortcut. But I'm worried that I'm wrong, so maybe let me wiki that later. But yeah, once we go through that fog, we can no longer become a Blade of the Dark Moon, and going through will count as a sin, as a transgression against them. But want to make sure we have a good shield. It's probably better to have a good physical shield than a good magic shield. I don't even know that I'm necessarily worried about changing anything. I think... Oh, actually, no, I am. I don't want to use this. I want to use a faster weapon. Okay.
What foolishness!
So we've been told that this is the
Why
tomb of Gwyn.
trespasseth upon the great Lord's tomb, whilst thou art a disciple of the Dark Sun?
Okay, it
Mark the
says
words of myself.
while you are a disciple of the Dark Sun, but you're not if you didn't
Thou
join the
shalt
Covenant
not
like
go
I didn't.
unpunished.
So he appears at the end of the hall. So once you get close enough, he'll stand. Oh no. Watch the blasts. So once he starts standing up, start sprinting and just running back and forth. Oh, perfect. And then once you get close, just absolutely wail on him and keep wailing as he teleports away. You can see I still was able to get damage in. He really shows, his moveset. Oh, I want to stay far enough away that he doesn't teleport now. It's pretty easy to dodge the magic. This one's a little more difficult, but oh, you. Okay, so we're going to start sprinting, hold the shield, and just run back and forth. Then run right to him, and smack him. Oh, so close. These ones, it's not always not a bad idea to just go into the pillar, but that giant blast will come right through them. So these ones you can let hit. Oh. Ow. Oh, that's a big one. Owie. Thankfully the big ones are easy to dodge. Oh, you. What a goober. That's right. You keep shooting. Hiya.
Oh, heretic, swathed in dark, an eternal curse upon thee.
And so Gwendolyn's illusion ends, and the hallway returns to normal. We get the soul of Gwendolyn. And obviously it's no coincidence that his name is almost, or is, a literal derivation from Gwen. So, Soul of Darkmoon Gwendolyn, God of the Dark Sun, and Guardian of Deserted in Orlando. So it calls in Orlando deserted. We've seen a whole bunch of knights. We've seen the royal guards. There's the giant blacksmith, though I doubt that they would consider that inhabited. But we've seen quite a few inhabitants. So it's interesting that it calls it deserted. So this is Gwyn's last born, is what it says of him. Of them, I suppose, is more accurate. So we get the brass set here. Same set that the Dark Moon Knightess wears at the bonfire. We get the world's best item. Hey, wait a second. It's empty. And here we see a single chair by a giant tomb. Some flowers left atop. And the Miracle Sunlight Blade. So Sunlight Blade is kind of the faith equivalent of Great Magic Weapon. Oops. We'll take a quick look at it here. Nice speed, no, down at the bottom. So this was wielded by Gwyn's firstborn, so our nameless friend. And like I said, it puts the lightning effect on your weapon. Power of the sunlight manifested as lightning. Is very effective against dragons, which we know. When the eldest son was stripped of his deific status, he left this on his father's coffin, perhaps as a final farewell. So this is the tomb, the coffin, the grave, the burial site of Lord Gwyn. We see that Gwyndolin, we assume anyway, by the chair, was keeping constant vigil over this tomb. He shouldn't be too difficult. Um, the the giant magic blasts are going to be the only thing that's really an issue. And even then, a quick roll, you'll be fine. Even if you just keep doing the back and forth, just keep running from one side to the other, they'll have a hard time hitting you. Um, but the homing missiles that they do, you can just hide behind the pillars like you saw me do, and then the crossbow bolts are pretty easy to just block the whole chain of them. But like you saw, you just want to run just back and forth as they're shooting the crossbow bolts, so that you can make sure that you're gaining that distance, because that's what they're going to do when you get into that range. Like I said, you'll see them physically move up on the snake legs, and then they'll start shooting the crossbow bolts. If you get hit with it, even with your shield up, it's going to stop you from moving. It's going to stagger you. So you want to keep weaving back and forth to make sure that you're gaining ground to get your hits in, and you want to get as many in as you can. But you know, it's nothing changes in that fight. Nothing gets harder. There's no phases. So as long as you just keep your cool and learn how to properly dodge each different attack, and you can learn what's coming out and when, it's not that hard a fight. There's a reason that we came here now, to reduce any issues that might be had with the fight, because it can be a little annoying. So now I'm going to go to the Chamber of the Princess. So we just killed a child of Gwyn. And now we'll kill another. Why not? Whoa. Why not two gods? Wait a second. That was a much easier fight that I gained no souls for. Or a unique soul. Wait a second, what's happening? It's all going dark. So, if you do that with Gwyndolin alive, they'll have some dialogue stating that we've, kind of betrayed things, and that the Blades of the Dark Moon will be after us. So I might actually get invaded a whole bunch here. I don't know if it works without Gwyndolin alive. So you see the royal guards are no longer in here. Bip and Bop sure are, though. Hey. So we got a big heavy guy and a small fast guy, which is Not dissimilar to a fight that you did fairly recently in the same place. Well, not exactly the same place, but the same area. So these are Blades of the Dark Moon. At least, theoretically. So they're not exactly the toughest guys to kill, but Yeah, so if you're playing online, you might get invaded by the Blades of the Dark Moon, but, Silver Knight's not here anymore. Come down here. So we see the giant blacksmith is still here.
What's that? Shall you need I make?
Absolutely, buddy. You can give him a crystal ember.
I make.
That allows him to make the crystal weapons. I'm gonna finish up Velka's rapier. Why not? I'll finish the great scythe too. I'll finish the bow of Ferris at some point too. Repair while I'm here, just for fun. And I want to grab some feather arrows. Okay, not quite that many. Sure, that sounds good. I don't know that I necessarily need more of these, but can never have too much of a good thing, right? Oh, I just hit cancel. There we go. Alright. Is there anything else that I want to buy from him? No. 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 And no. Alright. So we come out here. Batwing demons are gone. And then I come out this way for maximum effect here. So we read about the abandoned in Orlando, the uninhabited in Orlando. Come out here and we realize that the sun is no longer shining. That the guards are not here. And that possibly they never were. And possibly the sun never was shining. So the elevators move down. We did that earlier. And if we come down here, we can see a figure.
So it was you, was it? How dare you produce a blade upon a deity? How did you ever get this far? I shall end your suffering here and now. It is the least that I can do.
So, the Dark Moon Knightus, as you can tell from the name, was loyal to Gwendolyn. I'm going to get off these stairs so I can actually get a backstab properly. Without the elevation difference screwing with things. So this is the Dark Moon Blade Miracle that she's used to buff her weapon. It's very similar to the Sunlight Blade Miracle. Why am I having such a hard time backstabbing her?
But how? This man is a threat. Master Gwendolyn.
We get a Firekeeper soul. Okay, so this one specifically names her the Dark Moon Knightus. Firekeeper soul is a draw for humanity. and held within their bosoms. Below, just a thin layer of skin, are swarms of humanity that writhe and squirm. Her brass armor serves to disguise this ghastly form. Well, anyway. I have no idea what bonfire this is going to put me at. Okay. Um, if air quotes, turn out the lights by killing Guinevere before you fight Gwendolyn, then this statue won't be here. You don't need the ring. And you can't join the Covenant. Obviously, because he's angry with you. Um, and if you die fighting, sometimes it won't put you at this bonfire, even if you've lighted and rested at it here. It'll put you all the way back up at the Anne Orlando bonfire, the first one you see when you get here, but the elevator will still be down. So you have to raise the elevator back up, lower the elevator back down, and then come in and fight him, which can be just a huge nuisance if you're struggling with him. It makes it just that much more rage-inducing. So I find that easier. You miss out on the dialogue that they have when you kill Guinevere, or not kill, but disperse Guinevere in this uninhabited city. So something to keep in mind is that when I shot Guinevere, she dissipated. So she didn't die. She didn't leave a corpse like we've been seeing most of the enemies do. She dissipated. Think of what happened when you killed the Royal Guards. Think of what happened when you killed the Silver Knights. Think of what happened when you killed the Batwing demons. They didn't die, they didn't leave corpses. They dissipated. Alright. So now I think I'll go to the Undead Parish and we'll start DLC stuff. Actually, before I start DLC stuff, I might just do some questline progression. I'm just gonna warp to the Sunlight Altar. And we find a friend.
Oh, hello there. Forgive me. I was just pondering about my
Poor fortune.
I did not find my own son, not in Anne Orlando.
Could not find your own son.
Where else might my son be? Lost Isley? Or the tomb of the Grave Lord? But I cannot give up. I became undead to pursue this. But when I peer at the sun up above, it occurs to me, what if I am seen as a laughing stock, as a blind fool without reason? Well, I suppose they wouldn't be far off. Oh, hello there. I will say that the sun is a wondrous body, like a magnificent fart. If only I could be.
If only we could all be so grossly incandescent.
Oh, hello.
And maybe when we truly pursue the things that we desire, the things that seem to be our reason, we do seem foolish to those who look at us from the outside, Solar. I don't know if I'd worry too much, buddy. You find your son. Alright. You don't need to talk to him there to progress his quest line, but it's good to talk to the friends. We'll come back to Firelink for a second. And we see Sigmire.
Oh,
Oh.
hello again. Rigo's managing quite well, aren't he? I haven't found my father yet. Have you seen him?
So Sieglind is still struggling to find her father, but she appears to be standing in exactly the same place he was, so she seems to be on the right trail. And yes, we did see him. After here, he went where? He went down to Blighttown. So we did see him.
Sure he's caused you trouble.
Yeah,
Not enough for that.
I suppose he does.
But just stay put.
Well, it seems to be our fault that he's not staying put. Hello?
Really? I'm sure he's...
Okay, no new dialogue. Want to make sure we exhaust dialogue before moving on. So she's gonna go try and find him. I wonder if she just immediately does. No. Okay. Let me think. Got Logan taken care of. Got Sieglin taken care of. She's gonna go find her father. We'll finish up his quest. Oh, yes. This is what I want to do. I'm watching you, man. Let's go talk to Rhea.
I was wondering, it is a great... Prince and Nico were fooled by a lout my pricked his mighty bats, and thus made up.
Alright. Well, she doesn't seem to have anything new to say.
Then be said.
Oh, I'm sometime.
Okay, and he has nothing new to say either. So we'll leave them be for now. I have a sneaking suspicion something's going on, but... Alright, oh yeah, I wanted to show this. So if we come up here... and clear out the dudes. Ow. You dealt just so very much damage to me. It hurt a lot. And if I fail this jump... Oh, I did it. And we'll come around this upside here. And down to here. To the Ring of Sacrifice I said I never bothered picking up. We see Downhall.
Aye, Shema, I didn't expect to meet anybody here.
I didn't expect to see you here.
Like, eh?
And so now, not only does he sell the bottomless box, so you can do inventory management at the bonfire and store things, he does sell the master key. You can't get it before doing the iron golem. So I don't actually know if it's even useful after that point, but anyway, he does sell it. He still sells his crystal stuff. He sells basic arrows and bolts, but he also sells boss armor. So we have the Iron Golem set, we have Smo's set, we have Gwendolyn's set. So only certain bosses qualify as dropping their sets. But, you know, there's some pretty interesting lore tidbits within the sets of these bosses. So the Ancient Guardian ascends Fortress and Slayer of Heroes, who tried to get to Anor Londo. Without its core, it's just a hunk of iron, and can be equipped as, you know, protective gear. So Smo's armor. So we learn from this that he's an executioner and protector of the cathedral at the Forsaken City of Anor Londo. Forsaken City. So it seems that maybe it was forsaken by the gods themselves, and maybe they left. It offers extremely high defense and can be worn by humans, but, you know, you need a whole lot of equip load to be able to wear it without being weighed down beyond belief. So, Crown of the Dark Sun, Gwendolyn, protector of the Forsaken City, again. So, Crown of the Gods demands faith immeasurable of its wearer, but it is imbued with dark moon power that enhances all magic. The image of the sun manifests Gwendolyn's deep adoration of the sun. So the power of the moon was strong in Gwendolyn, and thus he was raised as a daughter. His magic garb is silk thin and hardly provides any physical defense. So, unlike the other children of Gwendolyn had an affinity for the moon, for magic. So, for the most part, we see miracles as an extension of the sun, and we see sorceries as an extension of the moon. So where we see the soothing sunlight and boundless sunlight, I think that's what they're called, boundless, bountiful sunlight, bountiful maybe. Bountiful and soothing. So these were miracles of Guinevere. So she is a miracle user. We see that Sunlight Blade, used by the firstborn, also a miracle. Also a miracle user. So the power of the sun manifests in these miracles, whereas Gwendolyn was a sorcery wielder. We don't see any we don't see any miracles rather out of Gwendolyn during the fight. And if we fight, if you join the Blades of the Dark Moon and offer the tokens of reprisal, then you'll get the Dark Moon Blade, which I'm trying to remember. I think it is a miracle, but it scales off of intelligence instead of faith, I believe. And so this could mean many things. There's different ways to interpret really all of this, as we don't know a whole lot about the dynamics of Gwyn and his family. We know what is given to us through item descriptions, but nothing's concrete. It's possible that with lineage, miracles come natural to the bloodline of Gwyn, and therefore even the Dark Moon Blade, which is the power of Gwendolyn, is seen as a miracle, yet is wielded as a sorcery, which, you know, makes sense since with how Gwendolyn was raised, born a male, raised a female, something that comes up in fantasy in different aspects, and comes up even in medieval history in certain aspects for different reasons. And often it is things like cultivating specific powers when it comes to fantasy. And so it's interesting that in showing the propensity for magic, he's raised differently, or they're raised differently than their siblings. The whole lineage of Gwyn is very convoluted, as is most things in this game. But things are made a little clearer to us in Dark Souls 3. But for now, all we know is that Gwyn did give birth to heirs, to theoretical, to gods, to demigods, whatever they may be. What gods are is a different question entirely. We know where Gwyn's power comes from. We see that in the opening cinematic. So what truly makes a god that? Anyway. Time for DLC! So we're gonna head back to where we freed Dusk and where we got the Crown of Dusk. And back down to the basin, back where we fought the Hydra. Make sure before you go, which is what I'm doing here, that you have the broken pendant in your inventory. That's why I said that we needed to kill that golem the first time around. In the archives, he'll give you that pendant. We need that to access the DLC. Alrighty. This is what I consider to be the easiest way down. There's like 7 different ways to get here. In terms of like direction you approach. Like you could come from so many different angles, but I find this the easiest. You could go through like Underberg and come down that tower where Havel was, or you could go through the forest and loop down and come down the ladder. You can come through the Valley of the Drakes. But this, to me, is the safest and probably the quickest. You don't need to kill these golems. Like I said, he'll always fall off. The big idiot. We don't need to kill these guys, but doing so may just help prevent them from following you all the way down the basin. I'm just gonna switch my ring to the rusted iron ring. I'll stick over to this side of the wall and come around. Again, keep in mind you don't slip and fall off into the abyss. Just run towards this and then we'll just stay on this side and we'll be fine. This is the beauty of having this rusted iron ring. There's not a lot of places that it's useful, but in those places it's really useful to not slow you down so much. Make things tedious for no reason. So now, something's changed. Oh wait, did I not come and get the Crown of Dusk? Maybe I didn't. Did I not show that? Oopsie. Whoopsie. So after you talk, so you rescue Dusk here from the golden golem. You go back out, you summon her, and talk to her there. Yeah, I didn't actually come back after that because I knew I'd be coming back for this. But after you summon her there and talk to her, if you reload the area and come here, you'll see that corpse with the items on it. And we'll just skip the portal for now. And grab the Crown of Dusk in the antiquated set. So this is her set. Interesting that it's on a corpse. We know that the Dusk is from a time that's not our own. She says that to us. That she's from a time before ours. So with the pendant in hand, we see this portal, or whatever it is. It seems like a mass, a solid mass. It seems to be very dark, very abyss-like, perhaps. Hello? And so we are ripped through time. Sanctuary Garden. So we'll light this bonfire. I wonder... I really wish I had 2 attunement slots. I should have been putting those points into there instead of into intelligence for the start here, but whatever. 10? 5. Is that all? Okay, good. I'm gonna start getting points in that first. Alright. So we'll come up here. Be wary of lightning indeed. Thank God I rolled. Probably wouldn't have noticed. Switch my ring back. Excuse me, I'll go ahead and buff up. And head on in to fight the Sanctuary Guardian. Pretty cool boss design. I like it. These little ones, you can do what I didn't do and just keep walking to the side. And he'll miss them all. He's kind of flighty. It can be hard to get hits in on him. Okay, let's stop doing this whole circling thing. Watch that spin. The tail can poison you. Oops. Okay, let's not kill me. Ugh. He's not doing any of the moves that give him good openings. Like that one. Oh, I shouldn't have rolled, or, not that I shouldn't have rolled forward, I didn't mean to roll forward. You should roll to the side, same with that giant ball. When he starts flying in the arena, he'll shoot one of those giant balls of lightning. Make sure you walk to the side and then roll. You just walk backwards from this while holding your shield up. You'll be fine. Want to roll that headbutt, block the tail swipe. You gotta heal him. Roll the headbutt. You can chop the tail off. The tail swipe. This may prove to be a difficult fight. It certainly can be. He's quite aggressive. I'm on a roll right as he's coming down. He can prove to be quite aggressive, and like I said, he's pretty flighty. Oh, I really want to against him. If you just roll to the side, it'll just miss, and then he won't do the follow-up attack. See? If you just roll to the side, he'll miss and he won't do the follow-up. If you get hit by the wind, he'll do like a follow-up headbutt right away. But if you just roll sideways, like I didn't do the first time. Which one's the right one? Oh, God. This one? Going up? Yes. Okay, good. Alright, and we come out to Elysial Sanctuary. See a whole bunch of little praying statues. Hello? We'll light the bonfire. And I think I'm just short. Yeah, like 100 and something on soul short. I have a small one. I used one. Yeah, small enough. So look at this. So the white-winged lion sanctuary watchkeeper who dreaded the spread of the abyss. So it had the traits of several other animals, suggesting that it may be closer to a demon. There we go. There's my second slot. Okay. Gimme. Gimme, 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 gimme. Thank you. Okay. I'll put this away for, where am I going? What am I doing? What's this next area? Do I need this? I don't want this. I don't care about this. Not that I need power within for this next section either, but...
Well, look at this one. From what faraway age hast thou come? Thy scent is very human indeed.
Our scent is very
but not
human.
Intolerable. Ah,
But not
Princess
intolerable.
Dusk's Thine aura is precisely as she described.
So she knows of Dusk, and she knows of her rescue by us from the crystal golem. She's no longer here. She was snatched away by that horrifying primeval human.
Once more play the savior. Thank you.
I will rescue her again.
I am Elizabeth.
This is Elizabeth,
Something of a god.
godmother to Princess Dusk, because who doesn't need a giant mushroom godmother? So she also sells, she does sell repair powder, which you might want to grab some of just so that you don't end up in a sticky situation where your weapon breaks. She sells gold pine resin, which can be very good, and she sells the Ulysseal sorceries. I believe her inventory is the exact same as Dusk. I think once you buy these, you can no longer buy them again until the next, your next game cycle. And I think, like, if you buy Hidden Weapon from Dusk, she won't have it here. Elizabeth won't have it here. Like, I bought Chameleon and Cast Light, and so Elizabeth doesn't have them here. And she also sells the Ivory Catalyst.
Thou shalt see further on. An abyss was begat of the ancient
beast, and threatens to swallow the whole of Ulysseal. So Artorias came to stop it, but such a hero has nary a murmur of dark. And without doubt he will be swallowed by the abyss and overcome. And indeed it may be unstoppable.
I have faith.
But maybe we can at least rescue Dusk. Okay, alright, I'm not going to listen to that whole thing again. Thanks, though, Elizabeth. So, she says that we came from an age far away. So, we've come back in time, essentially, is what we're being told. Back in time where, though? Well, that certainly looks familiar. Those walls up, towering above everything else. Is it possible that's in Orlando? I see some little gardening golems. And we are in the Royal Wood. So, the quick way through is if you just hug this side and kind of go around the outside. There are quite a few enemies in the wood. You can see some more of the little gardening golems down there, the scarecrows. There's also the slumbering giants that we're familiar with, but they're not slumbering here. I'm going to go around this side, though, and kind of show more of the area. I do love the design of this DLC. I like the enemies. So these seem familiar. The glowing flowers on the ground. Design in general seems familiar. Lots of trees. He's gonna run. Bait you into pulling too many, because they all start to fall from the sides, and if you chase him in... Oh. Okay, let's calm down, fellas. Okay, alright. I guess you got a job to do. Okay. Yeah, if you chase him in, you'll pull even more golems. Like that one there. And you'll also pull that guy. Oh, I got both. I didn't mean to get both. I was trying to just get one or the other. You can just kill him pretty quick though, I think, yeah. Oh yeah. Watch the attacks, even if you dodge. Ow. That. He will do a follow-up. Oh god. He is exceptionally resistant to slashing attacks. I wonder how he is to thrust attacks. A little better. Uh-oh. Okay, he didn't do the follow-up. He will now. Oh! Alrighty. So, these guys probably look familiar. Whoops, I'm turned around. Come over here. So we get the Guardian's leggings. Stone Knights, Guardians of the Forest Sanctuary. The Stone Knights are golems animated by magic, and their enchanted leggings are exceptionally heavy. So this is where we need to go. There's definitely more exploring that we can do up further, but while we're here, we have our first run-in with the Black Dragon. With the piercing eye of Sauron. Let's see if I can get him to run sideways. Okay, I did. Get some Twinkling Titanite. So we'll come down here and things seem to have changed. So we've got this chasm, and there's a mist coming out of it, and it seems that there's rot, there's blight, there's some kind of... Oh, hello. Uh-oh. This is, not ideal. I think I'd prefer if this wasn't how this occurred. Oh, please, don't just knock me off the edge. That wouldn't be fun for anybody. Ow. Okay, goodbye. Very rude. Interrupting me. Waxing poetic. So we see this kind of death, decay, rot, blight creeping up from around this chasm. See these weird little things. Maybe decaying trees, maybe growths. Who knows for sure. Some more gardening golems. These ones have giant shears. instead of the pitchforks. I'm gonna jump over here. I think the golem is usually over here. The giant golem is, I think he died when he jumped down on top of my head. Jump over the hole in the ground. We'll get the guardian helm. So we're getting there set piece by piece. Seems as though the ground itself is even falling down into the chasm. It seems like it's maybe collapsing. Another item here somewhere? Yes, okay. Elizabeth's mushroom. So let's find that here. Pass it. Go far enough. Yeah, there we go. Large medicinal mushroom of Elizabeth, keeper of the sanctuary. So it greatly restores HP over time. So it can be super helpful. I would strongly suggest holding on to it for a fight where you really need to be able to survive. Fight that you're really struggling with, that might make all the difference in the world, because you just eat it and it'll just keep providing you health over the course of its duration. So I'm going to come all the way across this little walkway here and drop down. That guy will realize he's been tricked and turn around to come find me over here. Oh, he's got a friend. Kill them both. I'm going to come up this side. There's more on that side too, but we're going to come up this side first. And up here, I'm going to come over to here just so that I can get an idea of who's coming to me. So you see the crystal lizard, I'm happy to let that guy get away. I'm just going to come along this wall. Okay, doesn't look like anybody's worried about me. I'm going to grab this. And don't mind me, folks. Well, they're really not minding me at all. So we see this giant Colosseum-like thing, which is interesting. We'll activate this shortcut. Well, I guess it's not a shortcut yet, but it will be. So now we're at the base of this Colosseum. We can come over here. And we can look out on where we will soon be. I thought there was an item on the side of the Colosseum. My bad. Is there somebody's summon sign? Oh, there is. That surprises me. Alrighty. I think so. Alright, so, well, oh, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the item over here. So we'll leave this area for now. There's an item down there that you can grab if you want. There are some dogs down there. But we're going to go talk to a friend. A friend? A friend.
Let me guess. Snatched by a shadowy limb and dragged off to the past.
Yeah. How did you know that?
Yes, of course. Exactly what happened to me. We are both strangers in this strange land, but at least now there are two of us.
So he's a merchant. He sells green blossoms, which can be super helpful They increase your recovery speed for your stamina when you consume them, so similar to the Elizabeth mushrooms, but for stamina. It makes your stamina come back faster, which can also be super helpful, and I probably will buy quite a few of them here. Other than that, he sells some homeward bones, and he sells some humanities, and then he sells general arrows and bolts. I'm just going to buy 5 of them here.
Did you happen across Knight
Artorias, the legendary abyss walker from the old tales. They're old to us.
It's just as well. He's a colorless
sort, if you ask me. Interesting. That's not what I've heard about him.
So, what? Not that I care. Oh, you know me.
Alright, so we've exhausted his dialogue, so he says that Artorias is a colorless sort, which is not really the story that we've heard about Artorias. We've heard quite the tale about Artorias. He also wonders what Elizabeth asked us to do, which is interesting because it seems that he was also snatched by the limb and brought to the past. So if he was brought to this part, if he was and he was brought here and he made it to this part, why doesn't he know what Elizabeth told us? Would she not have told him the same thing? Perhaps Elizabeth doesn't trust him the way that she trusts us. So this is back in the very first place that we were. So if we stick on this side, and just run around the outside of this little bowl here, we'll see the corpses of the little gardeners that we killed, and we see where we came from. So that's the bonfire you'll respawn at, where Elizabeth is, and we came across that bridge and up here to fight them, and we went this way, and now we're coming from that way. So there are some things in the forest that you can pick up. I missed one part of the armor set, I think the chest piece. I forget exactly where that is, but it is in here. Feel free to fully explore this area. It is just I don't know, I just find this really pretty. If you have music on, or sounds in general on, you'll hear birds. You'll hear bird song while you're in this forest. And it's interesting that this is really the first and only time you hear that. We're in the past, theoretically the far past, and we hear bird song. Wonder what's changed from this time to ours. But I do want you to take specific note of what I'm looking at right now, where I've got a fairly thick woods behind me, and I've got this little bridge across some water leading to, I don't really know what. It seems to be a place of import, where we have Elizabeth and we have these statues. I want you to keep that in mind. So I'm not going to go back to the bonfires. There's no point in doing that right now. I'll just stick to this side to avoid pulling enemies. And I'll come back to the elevator. So standing on this square will bring it back up if it's down, and standing on this one will activate it, obviously. Alright. So I'm going to see if I can embarrass myself. I'm going to say the chances of me doing this correctly the first time are very low. I'm going to activate my power within, put on my weapon buff while it slowly kills me, and let's get in there. More purple swirling mist. Coalescing around this knightly figure, seemingly empowering him. And here we find Knight Artorias. When he's doing this, two-hand your weapon and hit him. Just hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him. And hopefully it doesn't spell your death like it's almost doing me. Roll forward when he does that, and you'll be on the other side of him after the leap. It's always good with Artorias to roll forward through the attack. Rolling sideways, rolling backwards is literally never a good idea. But rolling sideways can put you too far away from him when his attack ends, so you wind up missing your chance to get a hit. Oh, am I just going to take this? Yep, okay, that's my own stupidity. He's going to try and power up. I'm going to two-hand. Swing, swing, swing. Okay. I blocked it, or I didn't block it, I prevented it. Holy shit. I was sure I was dead there. I'm still probably dead. I need you to do an attack. Okay, thank you. He's exceptionally aggressive. He hits like a truck. And as you can see from the fact that I came in here with magic weapon and power within on, he has a lot of health. One of the very few bosses in this game that still makes me feel like I'm trying 100% when I fight him. I love Artorias. He's my favorite boss fight in the game. I'm very proud of myself for having as clean a sloppy fight as that was. It wasn't clean in any way, but I didn't die, and I was able to fully show his moveset too. So when you're behind him, he can do this attack. You saw it probably briefly. You may not have really noticed. He can kind of throw abyss, really, just kind of blight at you. If you let him get off that little power-up attack thing that he's doing, where I just two-handed and swung, he will release an explosion once it coalesces, and he'll be buffed up. It's a nightmare. You see the amount of damage he's dealing right now. Imagine that plus 0.5, like a 1.5 damage modifier. Like, he hits like a truck as it is, you know, and it deals just a ridiculous amount of damage when it explodes. So you can just back off, let him do it, and then play really safe while you kind of wait out the buff. But it's hard. It's better to just, especially where you're coming in with the weaponry that you will, you should have enough damage to just two-hand and swing at him and just keep spamming. Spam, 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 spam until it staggers him. when you see him stagger out of the animation, back off. Because then you're going to open yourself up to damage because you're not going to have your shield to block, and you're going to be very low in stamina because you just wailed on him. So just be careful. You can do R2s and that kind of thing too, but I find just two-handing and doing the R1 will get him knocked out of it plenty fast, and it'll still leave you enough stamina to get out of the way with a couple rolls. But anyway, we see again this blight. It seems to be, if we look at this arena, we came from here. Here's the corpse of the creature that Artorias threw at us. We see the creature's blood. Seems humanoid. It's got some kind of who knows what going on with its head, but in general it seems humanoid. But we come in and the abyss seems to end where Artorias stood when we came in. His trail seems to lead this way. So this is an arena. It's PvP stuff. Which, you know, I don't know how the matchmaking is on Xbox for the original game. But, you know, feel free to pop in and take a look. Going just through this, well, I mean, I can just literally do it. Why not? Does it dissipate? Oh, it does dissipate. I thought it stayed for matchmaking purposes, but okay. These lead to different arenas in different types, and this is, you know, it shows leaderboards and that kind of stuff, and I don't really ever bother with any of this because I don't care about PvP, and I never have. But over on this side, I will show, even though we can't do anything yet. It's important to look at this from the perspective of somebody who's trying to explore. So we come up here. We're on the outside of this Colosseum. We see these statues with what seems to be the same catalyst that I have and that you probably have as well. So they seem to be Elysial sorcerers. We come here to this tower, and it's locked. Something to keep in mind. Keep in mind for two reasons. One, we want to, you know, notice when we pick up a key, and two, interesting to note that it's locked before we figure out what's in there. Wonder why it's locked. So I'm going to rest at this bonfire. I'm going to get my point into intelligence. I'm very, very slowly getting to the next upgrade for my great magic weapon. I don't know if I need to quit and reload for this to work. We'll see. It looks like I do. So I'm just going to do a quick quit and reload. Okay, and let me see what I'm looking for. The DLC has, I'm going to say, arguably every one of my favorite NPCs in it. This is one. Get a look at the actual figure. Armor is cool as hell, that's for sure.
Is that not the soul of the man who fell
Artorias?
on the spot? He was a dear friend. I wish to pay proper respect with that soul. Would you be willing to part with it?
Part with the soul of Artorias? I'm afraid I can't do that.
Yes, of course. I must not be presumptuous.
It's okay.
Artorias would not have approved.
Actually didn't look at this. So the DLC kind of started this new thing in the Souls games, maybe not the Souls games, but in specifically Dark Souls, Dark Souls 1 and 3 for sure. I don't remember if it carried into Dark Souls 2 or not. But the DLC started this tradition of kind of changing what the souls looked like to show how that soul might be reflective of the very core, the very character, the very essence, the very soul of the individual it comes from. You know, we see the Guardian soul is very bright, very vibrant, and then we see Artorias's. It's interesting to note that his soul looks a lot like the mists that we've seen rising from the chasm. It looks a lot like the blight that we've seen affecting the ground and the grass. It looks a lot like the abyss. And we see here Lord Gwyn's knight Artorias, who was consumed by the abyss. The legend that Artorias repelled the abyss was only half of the story. It seems that he was defeated, and his honor preserved by some unsung hero, who is the true victor over the abyss. And so we remember that we're not in our own time. We are in the far-flung past. And so the stories we hear are of Artorias overcoming the abyss. The story of Artorias traversing the abyss art none but a fabrication, as our friend Alvina might say. It seems that Artorias never actually was able to repel the abyss. He failed. And somebody's got to repel the abyss. Perhaps the stories we hear are of a different hero.
What is it? Have you changed your...
Oh, I'm sorry, Sierra.
You have no business.
And so here we see a little grave site dedicated to Artorias. Guarded by, not guarded by so much as mourned over by someone who calls themselves a friend. I do very, very much want to give the soul. I think I probably will. It's up to you to decide what you want to do with it. You can make... I'm actually trying to remember specifically. You can make at least... I know you can make the Great Shield of Artorias. Hold on, I'm just going to look this up before I put my foot in my mouth. Okay, yes. So you can make the... oh, yes, no. You can't make the shield. That comes from a different soul. And there is a specific weapon that you can make, a specific sword you can make with the other soul. But this one you can make the Abyss Greatsword, which is kind of an odd weapon. I think that it's very cool. I've used it only once in a playthrough where it was a New Game Plus playthrough where I cosplayed as Artorias and used his weaponry. Because, you know, I'm cool like that. But it scales. It scales with strength and with dexterity, and it has requirements in faith and intelligence as well, which is interesting. And it has some just fun attacks that are really erratic and very similar to how he physically attacks. I think you can do, yes, you can do his leap where he flips and slams down and things like that. It's actually a really fun sword. And if you're going to put some points into strength, maybe you do want that sword. It is fun, and it might be worth messing around and doing that. I'll show you what she's going to say and all that anyway, and you can make your own decision.
What is it? Have you...
I have changed my mind. You can have this soul.
Thank you. You are very kind. Please take this. I no longer need it.
And so we receive the dark silver tracer and the gold tracer.
May the Lord guide thee.
May the Lord guide thee. Which Lord?
May the Lord...
Perhaps Lord Gwyn? Let's see. So we got a couple of very good dex weapons. You can see it scales an S with dexterity, but it is a dagger. So, silver dagger used by a Lord's Blade Sieran of Gwyn's 4 knights. Victim is first distracted by dazzling streaks of the gold tracer and then is stung by the vicious poison of this dagger. So it has a poison effect. I believe the gold tracer has a bleed effect. But now we've now met 3 of the 4 Knights of Gwyn. So we've met and we've slain Orenstein in our time. We've met and slain Artorias in this time. And we've met, not slain, but we've met Sieran. And so Sieran is the Lord's Blade, and she is the Hornet. Orenstein is the Dragon Slayer, and he is the Leo, the Lion. And Artorias is the Abyss Walker, and he is the Wolf. Now there are 4 knights, but let's not rush ourselves. So we come into the township. There's a bunch of these guys all over the place. Mind yourself. There is a reason too that I picked up the Sunlight Maggot before. Oh, want this back for this time being. Whoopsie. Uh-oh. Please. Okay. So you can just sit up here and use your bow to pull one at a time. Alternatively, you can do what I did and just be an idiot. They do drop, I think, large Titanite shards. I believe you can farm them from these guys, and it's a pretty reasonable drop chance, so it might be more fun to farm here than to farm the stupid Blight Town slugs. I think the Blight Town slugs have a better drop chance, but I can't imagine that this is in any way a fun place to farm. So you see same symbol as we've seen on elevators. Again, you can just pull one at a time here, or pull a Davis and just pull all of them for no reason whatsoever. Be very careful going around this corner. If we look around, we can see a spellcaster here and one of the other guys here. So we'll bait him around the corner so that we can kill him first. And then we're going to wait for an attack. Oh, and accidentally... Oh, this is not good. I mean, I'm fine because I deal ridiculous amounts of damage, but that was exactly what not to do. So I actually picked up the Bloated Sorcerer head, which is good. But just wait until after it throws the spell, and then run up, kill it as soon as possible, because it can just absolutely mess you up with the dark magic. Grab the soul. We'll look at that. Here we go. Bloated Sorcerer head, head of an Elysial resident whose humanity went wild after being devoured by the Dark of Manus, Father of the Abyss. The bloated head is fissured, the cracks lined with immeasurable tiny red eyeballs, and accented by protruding brain parts. It is slightly enchanted, suggesting that it may have belonged to a sorcerer. And so from this description we understand that these creatures, these monsters that we're fighting, are just the residents of this town. When Manus awoke, he drove the very humanity within the residents mad. I wonder why that can be. Here? Is this where it is? I don't remember exactly. Maggot. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'll roll down onto here. No, around this corner. And around this corner, right? Yeah, here we go. Ta-da! So there's even a developer message here that says let there be light to give you a hint of how to access this room. Safe chest. We get the silver pendant, which is an interesting item indeed. So a silver pendant engraved with the crest of Artorias, one of the ancient treasures of Anor Londo, presented to Artorias for facing the Abyss. It effectively deflects the Dark of the Abyss, especially in its magic forms. So it's interesting that it's here. Did he perhaps lose it? Was it taken from him? Was it stolen from him? Why does he not have it? And so this was given to him when he ventured out to fight off the Abyss. I don't remember which way I want to go first. Out or down? Down, because this just leads back. Okay, so we'll come down the stairs. Move fairly quickly. We can come right to here. There's two sorcerers in here, one in the corner and one on the stairs. There's also one right here. When you kill, you'll get the I'm sorry carving, which is a fun little item. Really for multiple. Ow. Something. Oh my god, please stop. You're very irritating. I'm very proud of you. You've accomplished your goal. The dark sorceries, even when you block them, they take off so much stamina. Like, it's like blocking a very heavy hit, like a physical. The dark sorceries and the dark pyromancies have a physical element to them, which is lore significant, but also is gameplay significant in the fact that trying to block them is still going to take just a huge chunk of stamina out of you, and usually will stagger you, even if you have a good shield. So we get the Dark Orb here, in a place with some pilfered chests. So an abyss sorcery discovered by an Elysial sorcerer on the brink of madness, which, you know, we've seen a couple of them. So abyss sorceries are weighty and inflict physical damage. Perhaps human souls, because of their humanity, produce sorceries with more tangible presence. So perhaps sorceries derived from different means, from different places, could act differently. Where am I going? I want to go this way. So we'll come up here. Wait. Uh-oh, I'm turned around now. Yes. Okay. Alright, yes. Up here. Out here. Out here. Uh-oh, I'm so very backwards. Okay, yes, out here. Out to this one. I'm sure that walkthrough was helpful. So this way leads back over. So we'll come grab this. So you can see that's where we were on these walkways. I just dropped back down. So this is where we came and we opened up this door with the light. And any light will work. The skull lantern won't because it only works in the Tomb of the Giants. At least I don't think it will. But the sunlight maggot will, the sorcery cast light will work. So we'll come across here. So this is where I came out. See? And that led up the path. So I think that's everything on this side. This is just a dead end. And then everything else I got the sorcery. Yes, okay. I think I got everything that I need to get from here. I believe. So we'll come back up to the township. The important ones are the pendant, and I guess the orb is important in a sense that it's very good loot, but we really want that pendant. So right here, we're gonna get invaded by a familiar face, kind of. You know, he is masked. But we get invaded by Chester, which is interesting. He can be a bit of a pain to fight, but just let him keep doing the sweep and just hit him when he comes out of it. Come down here. But just as soon as you get invaded, make sure you back up so that Chester doesn't corner you and then you end up having to run all the way down here, because having to fight in this area means that it's actually incredibly hard to see. It's missing half the chain. You might activate this mimic if you fight him down here, or he might. I'll heal up. Alright. And this is a very good carving. So
I'm sorry.
there you go. So the carvings are used usually for PvP or for co-op, because you can't actually converse, and so they added these as kind of a fun little means of speaking. There we go. Kill that sorcerer from all the way over here, because there's this guy around the corner, there's that guy, and if you're trying to cross here while being shot by sorceries and chased by these guys, you're gonna have a bad time. always easier just to use the bow and arrow. This room too, you're gonna have a good time with a bow and arrow. Yeah. Come back here, kill this one. There's this one lying in wait. He'll drop down after you pick up rubbish. What a waste of time. Alright. And so down here, there's quite a few of them. Oh, well, this in there. That giant glowing head of mine is a little irritating. You can just take them out from here, so you don't have to worry about it. With the hawk ring, it's even easier. I'm just gonna two-hand my weapon. Oh, is it not gonna let me roll off this ledge? Oh, okay. Alright, sure. Why not? I'm just gonna come down here. Keep the pole between you and the sorcerer so you can kill the little guys first, and then wait for him to cast and then kill him. Obviously somebody must have had a message here about this being an illusory wall. Okay. Like I said, Bo is definitely a friend in this room. What is happening? Okay, alright, okay. It is if you know how to aim it. So we'll grab this from out here. There's a sorcerer up there. He's seen me, but he's stuck on an invisible wall. Although that probably means that if I try to shoot... Oh no, okay, alright. For some reason, the sorcerers aren't coming through the invisible wall. But my arrows can. Shoot down that corpse. Oh. Oh, nice. So also got the bloated head. So essentially the same with a hard outside and mucus filled inside. No sane person would ever wear it. Which is, you know, true, but... So we also pick up dark fog. Create a cloud of dark fog. Although dark fog is in theory relatively close to humanity, it appears to be a terrible poison for humans. Perhaps it reflects man's cruelty against its own. So you can kind of see how the magics of the Abyss work. And you can start to see what the Abyss might actually be and what it might represent in the sorceries that it creates. I'm trying to... There is a reason I'm still wearing this stupid light on my head. I mean, other than just it's kind of nice to have things lit up a little better. I'm pretty sure there's still one more spot that I need to illuminate. Yeah, right here. Come across. Grab a red titanite chunk. Okay, I forgot what was in here. It wasn't worth it at all. So I just fell back down into that main room. So I'm just going to go back down where I fought all these guys in the sorcerer. I'll come back up the way I came because I still need something from up here. A little more. So, right here. You can see this guy who's losing his mind. So we're gonna jump in here. It might be easier to roll. I'm not sure. And looks like we've got ourselves another mimic. Oops. The crest key. Grooves of the crest are enchanted, the door sealed with a powerful spell. It's interesting. So right now we've only encountered one locked door. There's might be an item out there if you drop down. I can't remember. I mean, that's the way forward, but we can get there without having to drop. I'm just trying to make sure that I get everything in here. It's actually been a while since I've done the DLC. Oh yeah, that drops back down to where we were, so we don't want to go there. But I do think I want to go down here. Oh yeah, this just puts us where that sorcerer was, so that you could break this chain if for whatever reason you didn't have a bow and arrow to shoot it down. That'll give you the dark fog, but you can just shoot it down. It's much easier. Okay. Alright, so we're done with everything in here now. So I will actually drop here. Is there... No? I thought there was an item out here if you drop this way. But anyway. So we drop onto these obviously ruins of settlements. Seems everything is starting to collapse inwards on itself. And we're seeing just more and more and more evidence of the abyss. So we'll come in here. We got another elevator. We'll head back up. And so now, this should be almost immediately familiar. This is the elevator that we see when we first come out of Artorias' boss fight, and we come down here in the township. It's now active. So we'll come back up to this bonfire to rest and get another level. Go ahead and get 24. I'm only one off. I'm actually going to check and see what I've got for, what is this, 10,000? 20,000? Oh, 20. Okay, that's more than I should have done, but whatever. Okay. Thank God. Now I can put on Crystal Magic Weapon, which is just one step up from regular, well, one step up from Great Magic Weapon. So now we're missing Sierra. Alright. Well, we did get a key. Get rid of that stupid thing. So let's see if that key is of use to us with what we're seeing up here with the locked door. Come up to this tower, and the crest key does indeed open it. So we know that this door was locked with magic, as that's what the crest key said. So we'll come up here, and we find a giant. whittling giant.
A visitor, have we? Thou must be the one who
I am indeed.
Glorious. An old friend he was. Thanks
An
to
old
thee,
friend,
he left this world with honor
He did
and
indeed,
pride.
and so his tail will remain intact.
Retired,
Retired and blind.
of little help to thee, I'm afraid.
So he's a merchant, and he sells the hello carving, and the thank you carving. He also sells some Homer bones and useless items. He sells Titanite stuff, and he sells great arrows.
If thou seekest to explore this domain
Of a black dragon, huh?
of a black,
I've actually met a black dragon here.
I fear thee no match for this
I don't know about that.
terrible beast.
You make presumptions of my strength.
Me? There's very little to be said. What good is a dog with no hares to hunt? But I'm lucky to be alive, I suppose.
So, up to this point, he has failed to mention the fact that he has been imprisoned.
Me? But what good is it that I
He says he's retired.
farewell? Lead thy life as thou seest.
Thanks, man. He says he's retired. He says, what good is a dog? A hunter. Sorry, what good is a hunter with nothing to hunt? He's a giant slayer, a dragon slayer, and we are at the end of the age of the dragons. So we know that now. We know that Calamite is still around, but we know that we're at the end of the age of the dragons. We know that the knights are no longer fighting the dragons. They're out here trying to fight the spread of the abyss. So he doesn't seem particularly perturbed by the fact that he's been locked up in a tower this whole time. In fact, it's interesting to wonder if he even knows. And if he doesn't, why is he locked up at all? I have an important conversation I need to have with a certain jester.
Oh.
Yeah, me.
You have quite some nerve.
What do you mean? You invaded me.
Fine then. Did you really slay
Yeah.
Knight Artorias? I'd heard the Abyss found him first, but even still, that's absolutely treacherous. Yes, Believe it or not, Ulysses has brought the Abyss upon itself.
Interesting.
Fooled by that toothy serpent.
Toothy serpent.
They upturned the grave of primeval
Upturned
man.
the grave of primeval man.
What could they have been thinking?
It incited his
to you and
ornery
it's all
wrath.
ancient history. You have to ask yourself, does it really matter?
It's all ancient history, and does it really matter? Or
Well, I've had enough.
listen, I've had quite enough of you, Chester. Your stupid little smiling mask and your top hat, bloodborne looking. Yeah, he says that this is history to us, and does it really matter what we're doing in this time when it's history in our world, in our time? And we already know that it didn't repel the abyss, and yet in our world, that's the story. Maybe what we do here is more important than Chester thinks. But this has been a lot of bosses. And I feel like that's going to be the end for this. I feel like I've shown quite a lot of boss battles, maybe not enough of strategy, on how to deal with them. But if you need any more pointers on specific bosses, let me know. I could literally talk about Artorias and this DLC for hours and hours and hours on end. But I just wanted to point out one more thing. When you're fighting Artorias, watch how he looks. Watch how he fights. I want you to pay attention to his arms. Pay attention to his state. Maybe Chester has a point. Maybe the Abyss did get to him first. For all we struggle against this man, it seems that he's at a mere fraction of what he once was. It's a fun fight, and if you get stuck there for a while, I don't blame you. And if you want to take some time away from the DLC to do some other things and come back to Artorias later on towards the end of the game, that's totally reasonable too. He's a tough fight. Don't expect to beat it on the first try. Treat it more like Ornstein and Smo, where it's going to be a wall. A lot of people don't make it past Artorias to actually experience the rest of the DLC, and to be honest, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with Artorias being the gatekeeper to this DLC. One, I don't think the rest is that, impactful. Not to say that it's not impactful, not to say that it's not good, but I think that seeing Artorias and being exposed to the fact that we, in fact, are the knight of the story, even though Artorias is the one who receives the credit, I think that's very interesting. And I think that he's a super interesting character, and we'll find out more about him too as we go deeper into the deep dark of the Abyss.